Ladies and gentlemen, well, welcome to Meat People, this podcast to the Southwest Meat Association. I can't wait to have these conversations, and we're going to do everything we can to make it entertaining and valuable and a great representation of meeting the people. Meat People, come on now. You got Wade Hudson on this episode. We got... I've already found out he's not a salesman. He's a construction guy.
Correct.
And this whole little building complex we're in is made of cold storage panels. And if you don't already kind of know what I'm talking about, well, we're fixing to learn some more. Wade, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate you being on the Meat People podcast. I've been kind of commissioned or given the privilege of doing some of these interviews with just people from the SMA, associate members, processing plants, construction guys. And as it turns out, there's lots about you I don't know. Mm-hmm. So I'm interested. I'm curious, where did cold storage come from, and how many plants have you built? I don't know. Where could we start?
So I guess we'll start with my dad. So my dad was a Tyler kitchen rep back in the early 70s. And he saw a need, so he would sell, a commercial kitchen, whether it was at A&M. He did a bunch at A&M. And then he'd have these coolers that were part of it, and he couldn't find anybody to put the coolers up for him.
Yeah.
So he would do, on the weekends, he would go put these boxes up in these commercial kitchens he was doing. So eventually he found a need for it, and he switched over to that full time. So we're thinking probably 1976, somewhere around there is kind of when he really
quit selling the kitchen stuff.
Got out of commercial kitchens and just started walk-ins at that point. So,
okay.
And then probably in the late 70s, early 80s, he got introduced to a gentleman from Chicago who worked for Swift and Company. So he got tied in pretty hard with Swift, and they were building plants. There used to be like a little Swift processing plant in almost every town, and those days are gone now. So
right. Even the big ones are gone.
Yeah, even that. So he was able to, really to get into the packing house business. That was probably his first stint into, and these were plants that, that were 50 to 100 head a day. So these were, at that time were smaller plants, I guess, and even today it'd probably be a medium-sized plant. So,
yeah.
So did that for a while. And then, here we are. So
yeah, way to go, Dad.
Yeah.
Now, what was his name?
Daryl. Yeah.
So with a D. See, I would have thought there was just two L's at the end.
Oh, no. Derald.
Did he get offended if somebody messed that?
No.
Oh, no. All right,
no,
good.
No.
Good.
They were just, my dad was the only one born in a hospital out of 5 children.
Is he still around?
He is not. So he died in January 22 now. So he's been gone. It was 3 years this year. So.
Oh, well.
But from south of Coleman or north of Coleman, Texas, in between Coleman and Abilene. So that's where he was from. And
well, that's kind of my neck of the woods there. So I played Coleman in sports in high school. Anyways, cool story. Daryl, only one born in a hospital.
Only one born in a hospital. Only one went to college.
Yeah.
So, and he was ready to get out of Lawn, Texas, where he was from.
Yeah.
Fast as he could. So.
Okay, so what did he study in college?
So he was a draftsman.
Okay, so it kind of all came.
Yeah. Yeah. So this
turned out to be useful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, so cool. Thank you, Daryl, for getting it all going.
Right.
Now, sometimes that's a little bit of a hairy situation just to get a business going and started. And it sounds like this story gets repeated occasionally. It's like, well, I was doing this, but I always needed this, and I never had it. So I started doing that. Next thing you know, you got a company.
Yep.
Have you got siblings? Or you like?
Yeah, so I've got one sister. She's 8 years older than I am. Lives in Bel Air in Houston. So
she's not wanting to put up.
No, she she went to
plants
A&M and then
such.
moved to Houston. So
Yeah, there.
she had no desire to come do this. So.
Sure. All right, so what was that like? Did you and your dad have like a good working relationship? Was it?
I'm going to have to keep this PG, but I guess once I turned 22, 23, I think about the time I had my first child, at that point, he was like, okay, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
So
Prior to that, it
Yeah.
was like, I get it. I kind of grew up with that a little bit.
yeah, I think most boys do. I didn't have a son, so I got two girls, and you don't talk to them the way that I guess you
Yeah.
can talk to a boy.
That's right. It's a total different expectation.
Yeah.
Now, sorry everybody, we're gonna jaunt off of the meat subject for a second because I got to tell this story because it relates to what Wade's talking about. So I'm at the ball game last night. There was junior high kids playing basketball, and I went just because I'm like the super fan. And one of my friends, he's got a son who plays football right now and a daughter that's just starting basketball. A coach could melt down on that son, kick him in the shin, and just berate him.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd be like, yeah, you're going to have to play better. His daughter got yelled at once, and I heard him up there, well, you're going to say that, you're going to talk to them other kids. Know, it's like it's a total different deal. But that's probably, I bet you if you think about it, if you're listening, and you grew up with family, which we all did in some way or another, you'll kind of get what we're talking about.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you go to college? Did you follow in those footsteps?
So I did not.
Draftman and all that?
No, I didn't. I went for a very short time to West Texas A&M and Canyon, and realized that I didn't need to go to college. So I didn't like high school. I didn't care for college either. So.
Isn't that cool? I want anybody
Yeah.
who doesn't love school to realize you could go be what you want to be.
Oh, yeah,
and
for
enjoy your life and have a successful business without those things. Now, some people need it.
Yeah.
I mean, I needed a little bit of it just for like maturing and learning how to start my own bank account and this kind of stuff. But so, anyways, cool. I like that. So you just went right into the business.
No.
Oh.
No, I did not. So I came home, and I thought I was going to come straight in the business, and my dad was like, you need to go get you another job for a while. Yeah. So I think I went and worked 2 years for a place in Conroe, and as a millwright, and I finally got out of that, and he let me come to work for him. So at that point, I thought, well, he's going to let me come straight in the office, and I'm going to be in the office. Nope.
Go put up buildings.
So I went and put buildings up. I was in the field, I think, for, 6 or 7 years, putting panels up on a crew. Started at the bottom of a crew, and then in about 2 years, I had my own crew. So he made me do it.
Yeah.
I wasn't real happy about it at the time, but looking back on it now, it was probably the best thing he could have done for me.
See, I mean, hindsight.
Yeah.
It's such a wonderful thing.
It is.
But it's just, you got to earn it. You can't just have it day one. The day I came to Peterson's, Cody put me in the QA department. And I was like, I mean, this stuff is not interesting to me.
Yeah.
It's like, but 20 years later, I'm like, wow, that was really valuable because nobody's going to stump me with HACCP or critical control point or GMP. Like, I had to write them.
Yep.
So I know. So, I think that's some pretty good insight to just think. You want your kids, I at least want my kids to be involved in the thing, whatever it is, if they want to be, which obviously you wanted to be, which your dad was kind of, I feel, insightful saying, nope, we can't just stick you right in the office because nobody's going to really respect you.
No,
because
he said
it looks
it
like
wasn't
dad just gave it to you.
It's not a good look.
Yeah, it's not a good look. What are your daughters into this stuff at all?
No.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't an option. So I told both of them, I said, look, because this is very demanding. I mean, it's a 24/7 gig. So I told both of my kids, I said, look, go get an education, and then both of you go find a job that when you're off work, you're literally off work. So my oldest daughter, Maddie, went to A&M and then wound up getting her pharmacist degree from A&M also. And she works for a pharmaceutical company now. And then Riley, my youngest, went to A&M, and she works for Standard Meat in Fort Worth now. So,
Yeah.
And loves it. Great group of people there. So,
I'm
put in
trying
a
to
little plug for
process.
them.
Yeah, Standard. Well, I need to talk to Jonathan Sable.
Yep.
I haven't been able to nail him down, but you're talking to Don Ray and Dr. Nick. I mean, Standard it's just one of those staples of the industry
absolutely.
that people know from really friendships and business relationships, all those things.
Yeah, Don Ray's. I've when we were trying to figure out what Riley wanted to do, my youngest, when I called Don Ray, so I was like, "Can you help me?" And he was like, "Bring her up here." So, he's just a charismatic guy, and he's just a. I don't know that there's a better person out there than Don Ray. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know him very well, but I feel like I do.
Yeah,
like he makes you feel like
absolutely.
That. It's like I've met him maybe twice and done one podcast, and he makes me feel like I'm cool.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it's like, way to go! I want to be like that.
Yeah.
But you said something I wanted to touch on too. It turned like this almost feels like a parenting thing, like a philosophy session. But you said it's not an option. They can't come to this.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? Why would you, this 24/7 thing has provided you a good life, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it has. And it's been great. It's probably better now than it was, because, as Brady and I got married pretty young, we had children pretty young. So, if you're traveling a lot, it's a struggle, and, it's just, it's hard on a home life if you're not home. So, and actually that's how my dad finally let me come in the office. Brandy went to him and was like, "Look, I got a 5-year-old that he doesn't see very often." So,
yeah.
And, at that point I guess he had proved his point with me, and he was like, "Okay, well, you can come in the office then." So,
well, I mean, I'd imagine you earned that with the team, the people.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm glad you said it, or I appreciate you saying it, because I'm trying to navigate fatherhood and building and making a living and all these things. And I pretty much always think everything's 24/7, and it's good to hear a guy say, "I don't really want that for my girls."
I don't. It's, 'cause the biggest thing is, if you go on vacation or you don't ever get away from it, you're here, regardless if you're here or not. You've got to be engaged at some level. So it's really difficult to do that.
By the time you've been doing it as long as you've done it, there's so many people with your cell phone number. It's I bet you get a call just about, and I mean, me included. I don't worry about Wade when I need something. I just call Wade.
Yeah.
I'm not like worried that, he might be wanting to do something else. That's just kind of the nature of the beast.
It's
cool that you see that, you understand it, and so it's good. Thanks for telling me that. Maybe somebody listening need to hear that too. So
the funny thing about it is you become close friends with like most of your customers. Those wind up being some of your closest friends.
Yeah.
Because you spend so much time with them. You spend as much time with them as you do your family. So.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I have these perceptions of construction and this kind of thing. But at the end of the day, you end up working with, like any project, you're working real close with those customers. Like you have to be. So that's where those friendships comes. You're hammering out some fire on about every corner together.
Yep.
How do you want to do this? More money? Nope, no more money. Like all those questions.
Yeah, budgets are important.
Yeah. Speaking of budgets, and how is the world of construction these days? I felt like it was in a high, and maybe it's kind of come off of that a little bit.
Yeah, it was. Last year was a really good year. I would equate to last year from drinking from a fire hose. I mean, it was just nonstop. So this year's been a little bit different, in a good way. You can always. We've never had a year where we weren't growing, so this is our first year of non-growth, and it's it's actually been good because it's given us time to kind of reflect on some of the things we could have done better last year that we didn't do. Well, now we've made those changes, made some adjustments, and are ready for the next go. Which and we're here is going to be back in 26, maybe not to 24. And I don't know that 24 wasn't hangover from COVID or
Sure.
just kind of that mess wrapping up. So it's been good though. I can't this has been a good ride.
Did the tariffs or any of this kind of stuff affect your raw materials?
No, we. So they told us initially, like in January, like our steel for our panels, that they had enough material that we weren't going to see anything till July, and then July rolled around, and we still haven't gotten really any increases. Yeah.
Did you just go to Washington?
I did.
What was that like?
That was fun. I think that anybody that has not been and gets a chance to go, you need to go. And
I've never been.
You should see it.
Yeah. Jason talks, goes pretty often. Ed Ruff goes pretty often.
Yep.
I've talked to them about it. They make me think it's a thing a guy should do, maybe to experience one thing and then to be a part of the industry and try to help it. One thing.
Yeah, and I think, for this, we just got back, so this is the third trip we went on, and I've been with Jason and Ed, both those guys. I think the world of both of them. Jason's a close friend of mine, so spending time, spending time with customers, guys that you like, guys you're friends with, that's always good. But the being able to go and really kind of see and this is we're getting a 30,000 foot view of this, how Washington really works.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's not all good. I mean, in my opinion. So,
sure. Who was I talking to? Anyway, I was talking to somebody that none of it's all good, none of it's all bad.
Yeah.
The problem we seem to have is the unwillingness to forgive some of that and just try to tell me the information. I don't want it slanted. Just tell it to me.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes it's hard for me not to slant it because I have a kind of a certain conservative type perspective on things. Anyway, thanks for doing it.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you get to meet with people that are got completely different backgrounds than you're going to have. Come from different parts of the country, and trying to and I don't think there's enough of this, but trying to understand everybody's point of view. We're somebody that's a left leaning or a right leaning. Where you stand on, and I think that most people are pretty center. I kind of feel that's the there's some things on the left that they might like and that they don't like on the right, but I think we need to get back to that where it's centered.
Yeah,
not one way or the other too much.
I align with that a lot. That is kind of the trick sometimes, is figuring out how. Somebody looks at me and says, how can he not see?
Yeah.
This is how it should be.
Yeah.
The same way I'm looking at somebody saying, how are they missing this? That is just simple, basic humanity, So it is crazy. I think, I'm bouncing this off of you, so
Okay.
I'd love a response or a rebuttal. I think we're, as a country, too well off. I think we've lived, and most of us, outside of the greatest generation that's still around and the boomer generation, in prosperity, basically. Mm-hmm. No war, abundant food.
Yeah. Everything's available anytime.
So you start, it seems to me, we start looking for problems where there aren't problems, or we start caring about stuff that just really doesn't matter that much. What do you think about that?
I would tend to agree with you. I think that, having, everybody's got a phone in their hand, and I'm as guilty of this as anybody. And, just the constant flow of information, and, if that information's getting skewed or whatever, just I'm glad that growing up that I didn't have a phone in my hand.
Yeah.
And, kind of, watching this younger generation, I agree. I just, they can get anything they want whenever they want it. And it's, it's all within your hand. So I think that's, and, you get away from, I mean, you don't even got to get into the U.S. You can go down downtown Houston and you can see some stuff that would be as bad as a third world country. I mean,
sad, hard. It's like, I kind of get nervous saying these things because I'm afraid God might say, oh, okay, well, let's just go, Neil. Why don't you go spend 40 years in exile in Egypt or something?
Yeah.
It's like, well, I don't know if I really want to do that. But it certainly changes where you put the importance of things.
Yeah, I think so. We, both of my girls, as them growing up, Brandy's done quite a few mission trips. Both of my kids, when they were, probably 10 or 12, both of them went on mission trips. Just kind of get a perspective of what 98% of the world lives like. And I've been lucky enough to do some consulting with the Meat Science Group at Tech, going to Latin and South America to look at projects and, really getting to see how people live and how they make it. And the fact that they're happy is probably the most amazing thing.
That's right. They seem almost happier.
Yeah.
So what about why the SMA? If somebody's listening, they're just came stumbling across the Meat People podcast because they Googled meat people for some reason. They hear this conversation. Why would you think they should know about the SMA?
Yeah, I think it's, the funny thing is, I'm going to go back to my dad here for a minute, but anytime that my dad got a new customer, if they weren't a member of SMA, he'd pay their dues for the first year.
Really?
Yeah, that was his thing. Now, everybody's a member of the SMA, so it's not like it was back then, and this is back in the 80s, and I think we've been members for, Joel, correct me on this, but I think like 40 years or something, how long we've been involved in it. So I think having, a resource for just day-to-day government issues or, I need help with this or I need help with that, I think it is a great tool to have in your toolbox that, you've got the fact that you can pick up the phone and call somebody at that office and they're going to answer it or, and get you pointed maybe in the right direction. It was kind of like when HACCP came out, my dad made me go to some HACCP classes with and I think Dr. Gehring was teaching these in San Antonio then. And, it was, in my opinion, and the way I look at it, it was the government taking the responsibility off of the government and putting it on the plants, saying you're now going to regulate yourself. But by the way, we're still going to have an inspector in there.
Right.
So I think, kind of that big change that, I think that a lot of people needed help because, if you're, if you know how to run a sausage plant or a bacon plant, well, how much do you know about HACCP?
Right.
You can go to a course and you can ask all the questions. They're still not going to give you an answer. So, I think having that tool in your toolbox is really helpful.
I mean, that's been echoed in almost every conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just trying to find somebody that says something else, but it just proves to be fact.
Yeah.
They're a great tool. The
They
SMA, and when I say they, I mean the staff and the members.
Yep.
And any ancillary kind of advisory type people too. It's a network that is interested in helping.
Absolutely. They're there for that.
That's a very different thing than feeling like they have to or paid to or all this stuff. They're just interested in helping. I mean, have you built plants for other members and stuff? Like, does it work out that you actually sell some business?
So I do. I don't do. So no, we don't. We get very little business. Probably like going to convention or going. I think the networking kind of getting to see people that you haven't seen in a while or whatever that looks like is important. So I think it's going to keep falling, but
well, it's good. I hear you.
So I think having the opportunity to go and network with a lot of your friends and getting to see people that you don't see but once a year, it's important. So, but Yeah, no, we've pretty much built for, I don't want to say everyone, but a pretty good,
Yeah. Good
pretty good
chunk
amount
of
of
them.
them. Yeah,
Cody, by gosh, you better be listening.
right.
um, I had another thought. What was it? I'm losing. Oh, so do you advertise? I mean, I see your cap there.
Yeah, so we do a little bit of advertising in SMA, and probably we could probably advertise more, but we don't.
I was thinking you probably don't need to.
No,
you probably have enough business
yeah,
from word of mouth, and
it's been really good just having the connections that we've got, and probably 20% of our business, or 80% of our business, 70% of our business is actually outside of, I'm going to call SMA, outside of that group. So,
yeah.
In these things, there's a cycle to everything. So, warehousing's big for a while, and then that'll flip to where you'll start seeing more process, and then process will roll for a while, and then we're going to flip to warehouse. So it's a constant.
Is everything
cycle.
you do some kind of freezer panel construction?
100% everything.
Yeah. So you're building freezer warehouses, refrigerator warehouses. Do you do? Are you subcontracting the floors and this kind of stuff?
No. So all we are is a subcontractor. We are just a panel.
Just a panel.
Guy. Yeah, just a panel guy. So my dad liked to GC work, and I don't have the bandwidth to be a general contractor. It just doesn't. I want to stick with what I know and what we're good with, and that's what we're going to do.
Well, cool. There you go. I know we had a floor that wasn't insulated right, and it started heaving. I mean, there's just all kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not in the business, you got no clue.
Oh, yeah.
Of what all little things that have to be done different, have to be done just right. Well, how about your wife? Like, does she...
She's here 20. She's here with me.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, she's in the office.
She's sitting right over there. I just knew that was going to be the answer, because you could just feel it in you. Like, this is just what you do.
Yeah.
And what she does. And so that's really cool. I think to me, it makes me want to do business with you. I'm like, I know these people. They're the people. Some things, some companies, some products, you do business with, but you got no clue.
Yeah, who they are.
Where the money lands, or who's making the decision, or if they care about you or not.
Yeah.
That's not true at cold storage.
It is not.
Yeah. I just can't say, I'm thinking of other, like, what's the best screw gun, all these kind of real, like, detailed things that I don't know if we need to cover on the podcast, but you just know those kind of things. Anybody wanting to know them, call Wade. He can tell you.
Help you out with that.
Yeah, he can tell you.
Or my guy that does my tools can help you.
Sure. Are you finding enough employees?
So that's been probably a struggle. That was a big struggle last year. Last year we took on probably more work than we should have. So we've got guys that have been with us I've got one guy that's been with me since I started day one.
Yeah.
So this, we're going 30 years now.
Yeah.
And he's been with us. And I think and then there's one that's probably 27 years, but those are probably the two longest ones. But we were fortunate enough in 2017 to have a group come with us from the Dallas DFW area that did the same thing we did. So when they came on board, we got additional resources that we needed. It's funny because every time I've needed something, it's been provided for me. And good or bad.
Yeah, right.
But it's something has always happened, and it's always been for I feel like here you go.
The correct outcome.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to say if it's good or bad. It's just correct.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So, get employees that way. And then we just, we got our first group of guys from Mexico with Gil, who's helped Jason out with that as well. So we've got a group of guys from him that just came in. It's probably a month, or I guess it was in September now. Time flies, but so they've been here a little over a month, and then working on getting some more of those guys that are these are educated guys that have got equivalent to a master's degree coming out of Mexico that are working in a mine making not much money. So
right, they're happy to come up.
Oh
here.
yeah, and it's it's exciting for them, and it's exciting for us too, because this is an opportunity for them to better their lives.
And you're getting a smart, capable employee,
Absolutely.
somebody to work with.
Yeah. So it'll be probably a 2-year learning curve for them, but once we get to kind of that, then they're that's going to be kind of the I don't want to say the future,
keep
but
them.
it'll be
you'll have to start all over.
Yeah.
Oh, what are the names of these guys? The one you've had for like 30 years and 27 years.
So Leroy is one of them, Leroy Jones, and then the other one is Michael Lee Wall.
Yeah. I like just getting their names out there because I really appreciate. I know you appreciate them.
Oh, I do.
I appreciate them. I think it's just cool to see someone work with somebody else.
Yeah.
Over that amount of time.
Yeah,
and they're almost brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you think about it like, we've grown so much that unfortunately that I don't get to see them all the time or talk to them all the time. Maybe it's once a month or hey, how's everything going? Or I probably could do a better job of reaching out and saying, hey, how are you? You kind of get bogged down in just day to day, and sometimes it's tough to.
Well, but it's nice to know.
Yeah.
Like you're also able to do some things you need to do because you got those guys.
Yeah.
You can trust them. They know, they know,
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's fun talking to you. I learned some stuff I didn't already know.
Well, good.
Appreciate you sharing it.
Yep.
And being on the Meet People podcast.
Absolutely.
And inviting me to Montgomery, Texas.
Well, the traffic is really bad, so.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to get back out there and see what I can do. Everybody, hi out there on YouTube. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Wade, thanks for being on the show.
Absolutely enjoyed it.
No, go put up a barn or something, or put up another plant.
Yeah.
See ya.